You're listening to the Get Out and Drive podcast, fueled by AMD, with your hosts, John CustomCarNerd Meyer and Jason Old Car Guy Carr. We'll be bringing you gearheads everything you never wanted to know about cars and why they should be on the road and not in your garage. Are you ready to get out and drive?
Get Out and Drive podcast. We are here with the Joe Dirt car. This is the owner.
Yep, and Troy.
And Troy.
Yep.
You guys both own the car.
Right.
And I'm sure, other than the movie, there's an incredible story on how you found it and why it's here.
Yeah, there actually is. Do you want to start?
Yeah, so...
He's been rehearsing it since, he left on the plane.
Yeah, so it starts as at the weekend before this came up for auction. I was at the racetrack in Ozarks. And
Okay.
our buddy Dalton texted me and literally said, hey, I know where you're going next weekend. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, your car's just coming up. You have to buy it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, the Joe Dirt car is coming up for sale at Barrett Jackson next weekend. And he knows I've always wanted that car. So the ad was kind of funky, and it said Joe Dirt tribute car.
Okay.
Then it said Daytona. And I'm like, man, if somebody went through a lot of work, I don't want it unless it's real. So called him. I said, that Joe Dirt car, do you know anything about it? And you did.
And I said, we're going to bid on it. He says he's bidding on it. And he says, it's a tribute. And I said, it's not a tribute. That's the real McCoy.
Really?
Yeah, so we went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, so I go, well, you were going after some cars. And I said, well, I'm going to fly down. I'm going to go to the auction.
I was driving. We were going to bid on it online.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
So I'm flying down there, and I'm like, well, worst case scenario, I'm going to take, hundreds and hundreds of pictures of this. Meanwhile, he's got this blue Superbird that he had dug out of Mississippi for sale on Facebook. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll just buy the Superbird, and then, I'll do what I did now. But The problem was, he's got a guy in Texas that wants it. It's sitting in California, and he's like, I don't mean to pressure you, but you got to buy this thing today, or it's going, once it's gone,
Right.
that guy's buying it. So
There was no buyer. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah. But anyway, long story short, I'm talking to him in the airport, and we're on the phone, and I'm like, all right, I'll buy that bird. So we did a deal on that. And I'm like, it goes to, how much you going to bid on the car? And I'm like, well, I just bought this car, so maybe 150, 175 tops. And I asked him, and he said 200 to 225. Or,
Whatever it goes to.
So we're sitting there, but he just said, I'll let you bid first. If you get it, good. Once you drop out, I'm jumping in. And that's when I just thought, you know what? We both thought the car was going to go, over 250. So I just said, why don't we just go in halves? And I'd rather own half the car than none of the car. If we go in halves, we're going to buy it.
Yeah, double your.
And I've never partnered. At this point, I had never partnered with anybody on a car ever.
Never partnered.
Because it's it's problematic, if you get the wrong partnership, right? So him and I, we became friends here, actually, a couple years ago, 4 years ago.
Drinking
And then we
beers out of the car we
keep in
bought later on.
contact
Yeah.
and share information and stuff, and we just have always enjoyed each other's company. And
You just bought that Copper 500 from me?
we had just been out to his place, so we both knew each other was real. We were gonna, we had good intentions for the car.
Yeah.
And so he says, hey, why don't we go in halves? And I'm thinking about it, and I would normally say,
Right.
and I was like, you know what? Let's do that. And so he was going there, and since it's cheaper to bid on, in person versus online,
Sure.
he took the lead in bidding. And I was literally driving through the fireworks stands in Arizona and New Mexico,
Right.
on the phone.
Yep. I
He's
can't
on the
hear
phone,
anything.
He can't hear me. He's bidding, and I'm on the phone. You see it on my YouTube. You see it on his YouTube channel. And all of a sudden, we won. And he had to lift his shirt up.
Yeah, that'd
And
show my
show
deer
his
tattoo that I've had.
That's when you know you're committed.
Yeah.
You know it.
What do you got, Joe
Either
Dirt?
need to be committed 5150
Yeah.
or you're committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're committed. Or you need to be committed.
But no, it worked out. It worked out awesome because I wouldn't be. After buying that Superbird, I mean, there was no way I would have enough money to buy that on my own
Wow.
either.
Yeah.
So Troy and I both want the car so bad, we just made it work.
We made it work. And he had it slip out of his hands like 20
I watched
years
this
ago
thing sell like
on
in
eBay.
2002 on eBay for like 22 grand. And I mean, I was,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, I just bought a house. I had two young kids. I mean, I did have that orange Superbird that I bought for 21. So here's how I'm thinking. A year before, I'd bought a real Superbird to restore for $21,000.
Oh.
Okay. So here I am. I can't spend more than I did on a Superbird on this shit box. Plus I was going to have to borrow every penny out.
Right.
So, and I'm like, it's not worth it, you know. I remember reading the article in Mopart's Collector's Guide. I knew everything about it. I knew it wasn't real. It was a 318 car, and I don't want to say I kind of talked myself out of it, but I did. I mean, what are you going to go to the bank, say, I need 22 grand to buy this, and they're going to be like,
And
sure.
this is 20 years ago when 22 grand was different.
You're
And we
talking
were
40
younger.
grand.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
For people that are going to listen and watch this, give everybody a brief history on this car. Obviously, it's from the movie. What is it? Why did they make it like this? Is there a reason that this car is in this configuration?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we have all the receipts, the canceled checks and all that stuff. They actually
Documentation.
rented it from somebody that built it, which is that, what's his name?
Patrick McCanny
Or something like that.
Okay.
It was already, the guy was already like cloning it. It was already kind of done. And then somebody just
But
posted
it was just,
Yeah, they were making a clone Daytona. Not,
Yeah.
Obviously the movie didn't exist at
but
the
it's going to be
Sure.
purple, I
It
believe.
was going to be purple. It's all purple underneath, underneath
Okay.
the hood and stuff. And
Jams.
then,
and
go ahead.
that test spot on the door.
That's an actual test spot. And the
That-
guy that came out said, yeah, leave it like that.
Yes.
The movie place.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so that's what we understand
Yeah,
about it, right?
yeah.
And so
but there is only one of this.
this is the only one.
There's not a close-up car, a half
No,
car, a
no.
buck,
This is
a
the only
hero
one.
car.
This
That's
is the
it.
only one.
Okay.
It left in 2002, and
Okay.
went to the Netherlands. And it was in a museum in the Netherlands.
That's why nobody's ever seen it.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, I see it on the thing, and it says tribute, and we did some research, and I'm like, that's no tribute. So when he called me and they were saying tribute, I'm like, yeah, that's not a tribute.
Why did the
That's
seller
original
think
Didn't
it
it-
was a tribute? He didn't
did.
know the car.
Barrett Jackson messed
wrote
up.
it in the
It
the
was a
magazine.
last-minute
I
add to
understand.
the auction. It
I
wasn't
see.
like Black Ghost where they paraded it around.
But that's
It was last minute.
that's a Barrett Jackson CYA.
Well, the problem is
If they didn't do the research on
but
it,
people
supposed to
were
be a
calling,
tribute
and they were
Daytona.
saying it's a tribute.
Joe
it's a
Dirt
tribute.
I
tribute
see.
Daytona.
And
Yeah.
the 18-year-old that's doing the copy
it's-
just goes, "Boop."
yeah.
Didn't
The
rewrite.
real Joe Dirt car, a tribute Daytona,
And they-
not
and
a
they
tribute
got it-
Joe Dirt
They
Daytona.
They changed it a couple
English
days
is
before the
crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
no,
people that reached
details.
out.
The devil's in the
There was
details.
people that reached out afterwards
Yeah.
and were like, I specifically
called
didn't
them.
buy it
Because I
did
thought it was a
because
clone.
of the verbiage.
They thought it was a clone. Everybody thought it was a clone. We didn't.
Well, it's a really good clone.
Yeah.
Well, this is a really good
This is
clone.
a really good
Yeah,
clone here.
holy
I
shit.
dig that.
Yeah.
So talk us through this car. Why does this car exist?
Well,
Because he's crazy.
yeah.
I'll accept
Absolutely.
that.
I really wanted something to be a daily driver.
Sure.
Okay, I will drive this thing all the time. This car, I mean, besides having the value, I mean, to us it's priceless. But I mean, them sticking this in the auction, I mean, this should have, if you were going to sell this car, it should be like he said, paraded around for a year and
Yeah.
sell Saturday night at Barrett Jackson prime time with the big money.
Oh yeah, it should have
They-
big
they
promotion
screwed
behind
it.
it.
Did not do that.
Yeah.
So, which is good for us because that car could have easily sold for twice as much as what we paid for.
And
Oh, yeah.
going back, actually, the guy reached out to me on Instagram like about a year and a half earlier from the Netherlands and offered to sell it to me for a little bit more than what we paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And going to the Netherlands and all this stuff, and then it just didn't happen. It was a lot of money at the time. With us chasing cars, it's like we have a bunch, and then we have none, and then we have a bunch. And it just didn't work, and I never went back. I get so many emails, so many messages, I just never got back to it. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it came up. Now it's available to everybody. And we're like, we didn't know if it was going to go for 150,000 or $1 million. We
Oh,
really
correct.
didn't know because
Yeah.
it's the only one that's never been sold.
Well, yeah, that plus alcohol and bidding.
Yeah. And we would have been the alcohol and bidding
Yeah.
if we had $1 million, but
Right.
we
We
didn't
don't.
have that to spend, but we had
We-
we had 300
It
between
went
the
for
pair.
exactly what we thought it was going to go for.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
And
Wow.
he had offered it to me for $350 on the message, which we could have negotiated or whatever. But in the end of the day, it worked out exactly the way it was supposed to work out. Him and I were great partners with it. We don't care if we ever sell it, really.
Mhm.
And when we do, we're going to sell it right, and we're always going to treat each other right because that's the way we work.
Wow.
And then Jeff will get to keep his.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
I'll
matter
drive
what.
this thing all
Yeah.
the time.
And this is a killer
And
driver.
did you build this car
Yeah.
as it sits?
Yeah.
And you've done all the
Everything.
patina and a wrap and
I
all that?
got an airbrush artist, good
Some-
friend of mine up in Cedar Rapids.
Okay.
It's the most expensive shitbox looking paint job you ever seen.
Yep. But anyway,
Because that's all airbrushed.
Yeah.
so I took both cars up to him, and
Sure.
he had it for 6 weeks, and
Okay.
this is what we got.
Nice.
This was an all blue, black metal top, white interior Superbird. The
Wow.
week before he started up.
That
Yeah.
He pulled out for me the first week of COVID. Him and Bailey, we chased it down in Mississippi and pulled it out of a barn. This is a real barn find that on the line.
And
they
a
go,
real Superbird.
It was
And
so
a real-
nice looking that everybody doubted that it was a real barn find.
Yeah.
But it had its problems. It wasn't a perfect car. It just looked it in the video. But this particular car was our very first bird that we ever purchased, and
Sure.
we've purchased 8. Yeah. So this was our first one, and it was
Wow.
just time to thin the herd a little bit.
Right.
Put it up. Had a lot of interest,
Which-
and then
The coolest part of it
I want
though
to sell
is
it to my friend.
we
first.
needed a white interior bucket seats to match this,
Right.
and it did.
It's already there.
So we didn't have to do an interior
Again,
swap.
planets are lining up,
Yeah.
checking all the boxes. Yeah, that's amazing. That
So,
is
yeah,
amazing.
I mean, I've had so much fun doing. I found the exact same 8-track that's in here, same
Mhm.
brand and everything. This has got a 496 440 source motor in it that I have already had built for another car.
Yeah.
And then Aces fuel injection. I did CV serpentine belt.
Sure.
Air conditioning's already charged.
Wow.
Did Nutrien Mech 5-speed. Did Willwood brakes. And I did 373 rear end, green bearings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neat.
And
Neat
even-
pair of cars.
The other thing's really cool is this blue one came with the exact same tires, the same size that's on the Joe Dirt car.
Oh, wow. Again, planets in order.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really did. And you know what? Sometimes partnerships have to happen.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have a better partner than him.
I agree.
Just like with Dalton on the Cougar.
Yeah, yeah.
Just good partners, you know.
Amazing. Well, thanks for taking some
Absolutely,
time today.
Yep.
MCACN 2024. We learned a lot of stuff.
So, absolutely.
That is awesome. Thanks for taking some time to talk with us.
We
got it.
appreciate you coming out.
Here's your reminder to support the companies that support your right to get out and drive.
Auto Metal Direct is a premier manufacturer of high-quality restoration parts for classic American cars and trucks. AMD offers a wide range of components including body panels, trim, glass, weather stripping, and much more, crafted to meet or exceed original equipment specifications. Be sure to visit autometaldirect.com as you get your ride ready to get out and drive.
What drives you?
With National Get Out and Drive Day 2024 in the rearview mirror, we're looking out the windshield and focused on Drive Day 2025.
National Get Out and Drive Day will be held on October 5th, 2025. Sign up now at getoutanddrive.com to receive your free official decal.
Let us know how you'll be celebrating National Get Out and Drive Day. If you are a part of a car club or having a car show that you want to promote National Get Out and Drive Day, let us know and we can send some decals for everyone.
Send us pics of your ride and we'll feature them as part of our National Get Out and Drive Day promotions.
Show your support for National Get Out and Drive Day by becoming a sponsor or including Drive Day in your show listings and company calendars.
Let's get out and drive in 2025. Cruise on over to our website, getoutanddrive.com, for all the info you never wanted to know about our podcast. Hit us up on our listener hotline, be the first to know what's happening, get industry news, and grab your Get Out and Drive merch. Connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow us on X at Get Out and Drive Pod. Are you ready to get out and drive in 2025? Get those cars on the road on October 5th, 2025 to celebrate National Get Out and Drive Day. Visit nationalgetoutanddriveday.com for more info. What drives you?